In this lesson I will go through a technique used in most games when it comes to mix textures together. And then you use something called Vertex Paint, and we can start right away. So select the plane, then press Tab and right click and select Subdivide. And for the little menu here you just press the arrow and write 10 as number of cuts. And I think that will be sufficient. We need some type of faces and polygons to make this work, so that is why we need all these subdivisions, but not too much, just so it works. Then just press Tab again, and now we should go into Vertex Paint. So go to Object Mode and select the Vertex Paint here. From the beginning everything is painted, but we would like it to be black, so we can just change this white color into black, and pressing Shift K or in the paint menu select Set Vertex Colors, and then you get everything black from beginning. And if you're going to paint with vertex colors to then mix textures, then you have to think, what do you want on each thing here? So perhaps I would like to have some water here, I would like to have some sand, could be some gravel in that sand, and some grass here. And the nice thing with Vertex Paint is that you can use different colors for different textures. So you can use one color like red for sand and water, and you can use one for grass and one for the gravel and so on. So we can start with just using red here. So we can select red, just drag that, so we have red, and that will be then all the water I would like to have here. So I just start to paint like this. And then when I think I have enough here, I can smoothen things out by using blur or smear, and I will use blur in this case. So I just drag it out like this, and then you can see it like smoothen all the red stuff, so we get it to be like a gradient almost. Then I also said that we perhaps would like to have some gravel. Well, then we just change this into change this to draw first, and then you just change this into some other color, and we can use let's say blue for gravel. So then you just change this to blue and take away the red, and you don't have to have 100%, can go down a little bit with strength and say that okay, I need some gravel here and something here, perhaps something there. And then you perhaps also would like to have some grass in, and then you can use the green. So then you just put the green to 1 and the other one to 0, and again just put in some grass where I think it should be. This doesn't look so nice right now, but we will change this into a really nice looking picture. So we can just leave it like this and go back to Object Mode, and then select this rendered view, and now we don't have anything, so we need to go into our shader editor. And when I now press Shift A, I would like to get in the texture coordinate, of course, and I also would like to have images, so we press Shift A again, texture and image texture, and we can copy that, so we get something for the sand and something for the water, something for the grass and for the gravel, so 4 of these. So just press Shift D 3 times, so you have those in like this, and then we just move it around just a little bit so we can get some room here. And now I need in the Vertex Paint, and you will find that by pressing Shift A and go to Input and go to Color Attribute. You can also get it in just using the attribute, but the Color Attribute gives you a list of what is made. So if you select the Color Attribute, you can see that we got a call here, and that is something that automatically was created when you did your vertex painting. And as most things in Blender, you can have different layers, so you can have one vertex group that is called call in this case, and then you can have another vertex group for some other thing and so on. So you can make a bunch of vertex groups. But the first one is automatically created and it's called col, so we just select that one. And if I just put the color in here to the base color, you can see that we now get the image that we did in the beginning, where we vertex painted it. So we have a lot of red, so that means if we use red, it should then be water. And to select that, we need to separate the colors from the color attribute. So we do Shift A again, then we go to Converter, yes, and then you go to Separate Color. So we put that in. And then you can get information for the red, as you can see here, or the green, which is then our grass here, and the blue for the gravel. So we should like to use the red first, and to mix those two images together we need of course a mix RGB. So Shift A and then go to color and select mix RGB, and you put the red one to the factor, so we have that in here. A lot of red means the water, so that will be in the bottom. So we connect one of these to the bottom and we open the water for that one. And then you can see we get all the water in here directly, and the rest should be sand. So we take in the sand here in the starting position, and now you can see it's purple, and that is because we don't have any image in here. And we can also connect the images into our UV like this. It doesn't matter because as default it is UV in an image texture if we are not selecting it, so it will not do any difference right here. But if you have UV mapped this into something else, it will of course then change the appearance of where the texture are. But we need to have some sand in, so we select sand here by pressing open, go to our images and select sand. And now we have water and we have sand in, and then we also need to have some gravel in. So we take this mix here and just copy it by pressing Shift D, and in the top we will use the information that we have already, and then when we have some gravel, then that will be on color 2. So in color 2 we then add the image for gravel, so we just take that in, select gravel, put that in here, and then you can see that now we have almost no sand and we have gravel everywhere, and that is because we are not using this mix here, and that we can do with the green output. So we just take the green to the factor, and now you can see now we have back the sand and the water, but we also have small stones or pieces of gravel on different places on our texture, because those are the places where we put in some green color. And finally we would like to have some grass as well, so we put in grass, select grass like this, and just do a copy of the mix, so Shift D, put that in, and if we don't use any grass we will keep the image as it is, so that will be the top image. If we would like to use the grass, it will be in the bottom. And yes, we take the blue into the factor, and then we get some parts of grass as well in our image. And we can then do this in like real time by just changing in object mode to vertex paint and start painting. So if we want more green, for instance, which means more gravel, then we just paint with green, and you can see that all the gravel pops up in a really good way here. So we can have a lot of gravel here, and then it just fades out into sand and grass. Could have some more grass here. Well, then we just change this to blue, and then we start painting in some grass here that separates the gravel with the sand and so on. So just to start painting. And if you have more faces, then of course it will get even more detailed. But you can see already with division of 10 by 10 on this, you can get a rather good blend between the textures. So you don't have to get really high poly. It's just that you need some polys to make this work with mixing textures using Vertex Paint. So that is one good use you have of Vertex Paint, and there's of course other things you can do with it, but this is a normal way in games or whenever you want to mix different textures together in a nice looking way. Then you use Vertex Paints like this. Okay, so hopefully you learned something in this lesson as well, and as usual I will see you in the next. So I just say bye for now.